K-pop cosmos. I am your host, Freyja, and with me once again is my co-host, Mark. What's up, Mark? How's life?
Life is good, Freya. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's finally cooling off where I live, so I'm
Excellent.
not like sweating everywhere I go.
Excellent.
Yeah, and for today's show, I'm actually really super excited. I don't know if it's showing my age or what, but we're going to be talking about a very, very famous and still very popular first gen group that I think everyone should know about. And that is actually Groove Overdose, also known as G.OD. So, yeah, they're awesome. G.OD, they are, oh god, they're like, everyone knows who they are in South Korea. Um, let me get a picture of them up. Oh, look at the babies. They're so little. Um, so they debuted in January of 1999. I was in like elementary school when they debuted. Um, so they have 5 members. That would be June. Sorry, I should really work on pronouncing names better. Kisang, Danny, Hoyoung, and Taewoo. Their fandom name is Fan God.
Which is awesome.
It
Awesome
is.
name.
It's a great name, and they have a official color which is sky blue. I don't know if their damn cafe is still up, but it's fangod.house for anyone who has those damn cafes still. You can check it out, see if it still works. So with the members, oh, they attack obviously since it was 1999, they are older. So this is what they look like now, if you can see them. They're much older. I think their oldest member is actually older than JYP. So,
Yeah, he said that in the song, and I'm like, for the first time, because in case anyone doesn't know, I am an old man. This is the first time that I've ever seen any K-pop member that was older than I am, and it's great. Now I feel like I mean, I am an old man, but the fact that there's still a member that's older than me that's still putting out music, I feel good about that. It makes me happy.
yeah, I mean, he's working. He's not even just putting out music. That man is like, they're all very active in
Hmm.
literally everything. so, so with the members, we're gonna start off with June. Sorry, the picture's so small. I don't know why it's so tiny. It wasn't tiny earlier. But June, I think most people will know him because he anyway, let me go first. He was born Park Park June Young. He's the leader and rapper. He was born July 20th, 1969. I was like,
Yes.
geez, man, geez. And he's 5'11". He was born in South Korea, but he was raised in LA. So he moved to the US. And you can totally tell.
Yes.
he acts like a freaking LA guy. um, so he has 2 brothers and a sister. He's a skateboarder, surfer, martial artist, the typical Californian living on the beach type person. Um, he Oh, and I forgot to say their company is like Citus HQ, but it's a little complicated. I'll get into that. It was a little complicated. um, he is married and he has, I think, a daughter. And it looks adorable from like the clips he shows. He has a YouTube channel, which is I love his YouTube channel. To be perfectly honest, it's What's Up Man. I love watching it because like I said, he has the personality of like a total LA American dude. And it's so funny because he makes everyone else around him so nervous because of how loud he is. Like he is like not shy whatsoever. And on What's Up Man, he actually goes out and like if he runs into fans, he's like, "Hey, let's go get food," and they go and eat together. He's like, "What's good around here?" It's kind of like he goes on tours of Korea. He's like, "Hey, what's good?" And they go and they take
Mhm.
him, and he sits and has lunch with his fans. It's pretty cool. And of course, he also did things with Jackson Wang, which I mean, if you like Jackson, I mean, they're both ridiculous guys. So I highly recommend his channel. Also, he was in a movie. Do you know what movie he was in?
I know a movie he was in, and it made my heart flutter when I saw it. He's first. Let me just say that I didn't know of God at
Mhm,
all. I heard the name, but I didn't really like follow them at all. But June, I would see all over the place, and I'm like,
mhm.
who is this older statesman with so much swag? Like, who is this guy? So whenever I would see him, like on variety shows or popping up in videos and stuff. I'm like, I like this guy. I don't know who he is, but I really like this guy.
Yeah,
So seeing him in this group, seeing that he's one of the oldest member probably
yeah,
of Gen 1 K-pop quote unquote boy bands. Yeah, and then seeing that he did some acting and he was in Speed Racer, which if anyone knows me knows that I'm a huge Speed Racer fan. That just cemented him in my heart even more. I love June. He's my
yeah.
guy.
Oh, so do you know Dragon Ball?
Yes, yes.
Did you also know that he was in a Dragon Ball movie?
That's right. I did see that. And you know what? I honestly I like once I saw Speed Racer, everything else just kind of kind of
What?
turned into a blur. I'm like Dragon Ball, maybe he shouldn't have that on his resume. Maybe cross that one off.
Yeah, for everyone he wasn't picking up on, he was in that atrocious Dragon Ball Evolution movie.
Yep.
That's like, the poster child of what not to do with anime adaptations. He was Yamcha of all people. Freaking Yamcha. Like, what? He's too old to be Yamcha. Even back then, he was too old to be Yamcha. But yeah, he was in that movie, and on his What's Up Man, he brings it up a lot.
Excellent.
He's like, "Oh yeah, I was in a movie in Hollywood." They're like, "Oh really? Yeah," because I think he was talking to like the X-Men cast. He's like, "Have you heard of a movie called Dragon Ball Evolution?" He's like, "Yeah, bombed." He's so funny, but also he it What's Up Man. Listen, why I like it so much is he comments about he reflects a lot. He's like, "Oh yeah, back when back in the day," and if they don't cut it because they find it like old man boring ranting,
Right.
I like it because he was talking about training with JYP and their debut. He's like, oh, because in one of the episodes he went to the big three companies. Like he went into their main areas. I think he had Red Velvet or Twice show him around. I think it was Red Velvet. Because I think they're at SM and they were like
Yep.
showing him around the SM building. JYP, they just let him wander. He ran into stray kids. He made fun of like what they eat in their cafeteria.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
he called it rabbit food or something because JYP's all into that health food stuff. He's like, what is this? What is this rabbit food? Yeah, he ran into stray kids and stuff. He's like, oh, my juniors. He scared them. So I was like, yeah. But he talks about like when they first started out, they were like practicing in a basement and they would share a cup noodle for
Wow.
food. He's like, yeah, we were super poor and we, you know, practiced in the JYP basement because there was no JYP. It wasn't even JYP. It was just like we practiced in the basement. We like
Right.
shared a cup noodle together, and that's what we ate. It's like, jeez. He also talked about how he got recruited, which was really weird. He talked about like his sister. You know those little keychains where you could put pictures in them.
Yeah.
Remember back. So apparently his sister had a picture of him in one of those like keychain things, if I'm remembering the story right. And like he like someone from Citus or Sidious Citus HQ saw that picture because for some reason, and they go, "Oh, who's that?" She goes, "That's my brother." And they're like, "Oh, would he be interested in being a member of a boy group?" And she's like, I don't know, but he'll I'll ask him, and he was like bringing her California oranges or something.
Oh, okay.
And so he got like an interview because of that, because they saw a picture of him.
Nice.
Keychain. It's like, yeah, that's how that's how they got me. I was like, geez, Jude. Also, I a random note. There is a video of him. I think he was filming What's Up Man or the show or something, but they were doing like a back shot, where they're far away, and he's at a light, and this guy comes up, and what happens is the guy was trying to rob June. Like they were
Wow.
trying to rob him. But then you can see them notice the cameras around them. And so so then they start to panic. And then June June, he went into the bring it, bro, come on. He like takes his backpack off and he's like ready to fight these
Right, of course.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best video I have ever seen, because he totally went full straight Californian, bring it.
That's
I will fight you. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this man.
He's fantastic. He's fantastic. I look forward to any time he sits down to give like any kind of interview or something. I just look forward to it. I love him.
Oh yeah, I love him too. He's great. Sorry guys, we spent a lot of time on June. So our next member of G.O.D is K-Sung. Sorry guys, I know I'm trying to be better. Yoon K-Sung, he's a vocalist. He was born December 20th, 1978. So he's almost about 10 years younger than June. He was born and raised in South Korea. He has an older sister. He's a gamer.
No.
He's not. It's funny. Other facts I say, he's not a sociable person.
Right. That's
Okay, he's an introvert. So, Ki-sung, he has a great voice. Like, it's a beautiful voice, and his face is a very nice shape. Sorry, he has a very nice shaped face. And then moving on, sorry, Ki-sung, we have also Danny. So he was also born in 1978. They say that everyone's 5'11", but I don't believe that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right at all.
So Danny is actually an American. He was born in Seattle, Washington. So we got another American.
Yeah, I like it. Represent.
Yeah. June Park. He's cousins with June Park.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I know that they're cousins. Danny is one of those people that whenever there's any kind of like promotions that a K-pop group would do in America, like either for K-Con or even like a little like mini tour, Danny was always the guy that was like kind of doing interviews. Like he would always pop up. I knew him as like a radio host forever. Like I had no idea he was in a group.
Yeah.
I just thought he was the guy that interviewed people.
He's just an interviewer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Danny, oh wait, no, this isn't Danny. Crap. Why am I talking about? I have the wrong picture. This is Danny. Oh my god.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, wait, that's not Danny. Who are you? Sorry, guys. This is Danny. My bad. Yeah, the other person was Ho-young. Sorry. I had the wrong picture in the wrong order. But yeah, Danny, he's, like a typical Washington person. He skis, What else do you do in Washington? Drive around and ski. He also reads comics. Yeah, for some reason, I didn't know until recently that he and June were cousins. But that makes a whole lot of sense. He's not nearly as aggressive as June is.
No, not at all. Not at all.
He's, but I don't think anyone can be as aggressive as June. I already said it, 78. And then going back to Ho-young, who was in the wrong order on my thing. He was born in 1980. And he's one of the members who's only 5'9". So, all right. I believe that more. He's another American. This group is like 90% Americans. He's from New Jersey.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
I know, right?
East Coast. That's
East
unusual.
Coaster.
You don't get a lot
Yeah.
of those.
No, we don't. Well, I mean, no, not really. It's usually the West Coast, yeah.
Yep, yep.
I mean, Jesse's from like Brooklyn, but like she's from New York, one of those areas.
Hmm.
So he's from New Jersey. I think he went on. He started doing like acting, didn't he? I thought he started doing acting. Um, and let's see. Oh, once again, it's skiing and basketball, of course. He was rapper vocalist, and yeah, he went to the Department of Theater and Film, Kyunghee University. So I guess he went to school in South Korea, which is
Oh,
cool.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would say that all of these guys are generally good-looking men. I mean, they're all
Oh
like
yeah,
they're in idol groups or whatever.
yeah.
But like I was watching some of the
He's
videos of
baby face.
their like reunion tours when they got
Hmm.
together like maybe like 5 or 7 years ago. He's really handsome. Like he grew up
Yeah,
like really
yeah.
handsome. I'm like,
He
Jesus, this guy.
he's very baby face still. Like he
Yep.
looks a lot younger than he is.
Yes,
Like,
definitely.
and he kind of reminds me of, who does he remind me of? Uh, one of the Monster X members. I'm trying to remember which one, but he reminds me a lot of one of the Monster X members.
Hmm.
So he seems like he would fit in very well with them. Let's see. And our last member. Let's see. Is he going to be from the U.S. or is he going to be from South Korea? Here we go. This is Taewoo. His full name is Kim Taewoo. He's vocalist and he's the youngest.
Hmm.
Um, and he's 6'3", which I believe because that man like towers over everyone. um, so he went to Kyunghee University, same with Hoyoung, and he has two older sisters. His nickname is Winnie the Pooh. I love their nicknames. Um, and yeah, he has. So I think he was the first one to get married. I think June got married within like the last 10 years. But he got married first, and he has 3 kids,
Hmm.
which is absolutely adorable. And he was born in May 12th, 1981. So he is. But I think he has the best voice out of the group, though. He can hit those. He was. He can hit those high notes and like hold them. He is fantastic.
Yeah, he's one of the few idol members that I've seen that almost consistently has glasses on.
Yeah.
Whether it's sunglasses or just or just regular glasses, I can always
Mhm.
spot him, and he's actually really funny too. I've seen interviews with him. He's a really personable guy. He
Guy.
doesn't give like traditional like
Mhm.
I'm an idol, let me be respectful kind of answers, which is fine. But his answers are very candid, and I like him. I like the way that he talks about the group. He's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I like him a lot too. So go back. Let me go back to the. Do I want the baby face picture? I think this is the baby face picture. So with these guys, they actually G.O.D. They were crazy popular back in the day. They started selling. Well, this is of course because it's first gen. This is before social media and
Right.
the internet. We didn't have digital sales, nothing like that. So they couldn't. They weren't really selling albums outside of Korea, which makes sense because we didn't have digital sales. You had to actually get the physical disc or VH, what was it, whatever, the cassettes or cassette tapes. Oh my gosh, cassette tapes.
Yep.
So they were very, very popular. They were one of the best-selling artists in South Korea prior to the digital era. So they were one of the few idol groups that had their albums sell more than be called a million seller. So they had
Right.
millions of people buying their albums. And I believe they were one of the first groups called the Nation's Idol. I know, right? And so their beginnings. They didn't actually start hitting like 1 million in sales until their third album. I believe their first album wasn't well received for whatever reason. Because I absolutely loved their first album's like title track, which was like Mother.
Yeah, Dear
Which,
Mother.
Dear Mother, oh, that song and that video, I bawled my eyes out. I loved it. It's so good. And they were known for having what was it? Stories in their music
Yeah.
videos that go along with their music, like perfectly. And Mother was so sad. I was like, to Mother, it was like she worked herself to death. Like I was so sad. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
why?
it is incredibly heartbreaking, especially when you're thinking, okay, this is first generation K-pop.
Yeah.
One of the things that these guys are really going to exceed in is bringing Western style hip hop music
Hmm.
with the Eastern melodies and styles. You know, something that looks like it, something that got the whole K-pop ball rolling. And the
Yeah.
fact that their first song is like a pure heartbreaking ode to mothers.
Yeah. Oh,
It's so heartbreaking. Like, like Korea just wants to make people cry. Like
I know.
that's their thing. They're like, we like you, we want your money, but we also want you in tears. Enjoy this
Mm.
video.
Oh, it's so. I think I lost it when he was talking about they opened a restaurant, and then he's like, I guess my mom was just really tired because she went to sleep first, and then it goes, and then she never woke up again. I'm
Right?
like, oh my gosh, what? Why would you do that to me? I had to pause, like, oh my gosh. Oh, and originally, so with their confusing beginnings, so they were actually from Sidus HQ, but they went to JYP, who had barely started his own company. And so JYP became their producer and mentor because I guess his company was bigger than Sidus HQ. I don't know by how much. I mean, he had one idol under his company at the time. But yeah, he worked with them extensively, and so they were being managed by Sidus HQ, but JYP was in control of them. It was weird. It was like they were under two companies at that time. So he actually was going to call them Got Six.
Oh my god, that blew my mind when I saw that. I'm like,
Wow,
hang on.
JYP. I was like, why? Wow, JYP had that hanging up for that
I
long of
know.
a.
He's like, listen, let me dig this and dust this off right here. You
Yeah.
guys are gonna be God Seven. Here
Like,
you go.
I was like, oh my gosh, really, JYP? Seriously? Oh, God. But, jeez. And so eventually, I think JYP, I don't know, they all went to JYP at one point too. But I guess they're back at Citizen. I don't know. It's confusing because they jumped over to JYP for a bit and then they went back to Citizen HQ.
Yeah, I think the way that I understood it, and I could be wrong, the way that I
Mm-hmm.
understood it is they were with Citiz HQ and JYP. Even though he was building JYP Entertainment, he was still kind of like his own solo type of manager.
Mm-hmm.
So he was responsible for, he's like their A&R person, you
Yeah.
know, doing all the training and managing them and doing that. But they were still under um, Citiz HQ. And then when their contract was over, you know, and they wanted to go someplace else, JYP had already built up JYP Entertainment. And he's like, I already know you guys, just come on over here. And
Yeah.
because they worked with him like years ago in the past, they were like, hey, that seems like a good fit.
Yeah. And it was a good idea because it greatly helped JYP too. Like
Yes, definitely.
he got one of the best. He just got really lucky because he got one of the best soloists in Korea too at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, so he really lucked out that they were like, yeah, we'll hop on over to you. And then he had also that he had Rain, but they were also became very very popular in in 2000. That's when they first sold their million album, which was their third one. And they also, I think, also it was due to this because people like to watch TV. They were the first like pop group, K-pop group to have their own TV show. And it was called G.O.D's Baby Diaries. I don't know who came up with this idea, and honestly, it terrifies me to have like 5 dudes try to, take care of an 11-month-old baby. I would be absolutely terrified. But it was a very popular show, and because it was new, they're like, "What? Idols? They're on a TV
Yeah.
show? That's weird."
Yeah,
So
and
they
I
watched it.
remember they were talking about it was pitched around to a bunch of other boy bands at the time.
Hmm.
Like, here's this, because like you said, it hasn't been done before. Here's like a
Yeah,
reality show. We want these boy bands to help raise this baby, almost like a 3 Men and a Baby, but
yeah,
a reality version of it, and it's with
yeah.
idols. So everyone said no, and God was like, yeah, we'll do it."
Sure, babies. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, and
why not? Whatever gets our name out there, whatever gets the popularity out there, that we'll
sure.
we'll do it. And man, did that pay off.
Oh yeah, it, yeah, because this was their, like I said, their first $1 million out, like million sold album, and also the title track "Lies" is really really good. Um, it it's kind of it's a weird song, so highly recommend watching all of their videos that have subtitles, to watch them with the subtitles.
Yes.
um because like we said, all of their music videos have a story to go with it. So "Lies," as I was going through, and correct me if I'm wrong, people, uh, they said that like during the chorus, when there's an echo, he says one thing, the main vocal says one thing, and then like everyone else, sings like something completely different, like the opposite. Did you pick up on that with
No,
that
I didn't
music
catch
video?
that at all. No.
Yeah. So he goes, like, one of the lines I think is something like, I want you to like move on from me, or something to that effect. And then the background, or the backup, goes, "Don't leave me, don't forget me, stay
Oh.
with me." And then and so someone was saying that like the main vocal during the song, he's lying, hence "Lies." So he's lying to her. It's not really how he feels. And then the background, or the people, the backup, are what he actually means, like what he
Right.
actually feels inside. However, at the very end, the last part of the chorus, like the very last chorus, they switch it up. So then the main vocal starts going, "I don't want you to go, don't leave me," and then the backup is singing, "I hope you have a good life, blah blah blah." So it switches at the end.
Ah.
So it's like, oh, that's really cool. I was
That is
like,
a great concept.
that's a great concept. Also, "Lies" was, they had they dominated the number one spot, and I think they won a Dosang with that song. Um, and then I think later they had the song "Road," which I mean, I read the lyrics and I still have no idea what that song's really talking about. I was like, "Road," like the road that you're currently on in your life, I guess. It was weird. And then I think that song, or that album, they won more Dasangs, and then they achieved, like, they swept the Dasang Awards at all of the 3 major broadcasting stations. Like, they totally swept everything that year in 2000. Um,
Yeah, I had no idea that they were that popular. Like, I've heard of them, but I've seen members in different areas, but I didn't know that they were like, when they dropped that album, that they were sweeping awards. I had no idea that they had gotten to the point where they were that huge,
yeah.
and like still climbing, still rising.
And it was really, really soon, because they debuted in 1999, and this is
Yeah.
just 2000, and they're just sweeping everything.
Hmm.
It was crazy. And then also the next year, which I freaking love this. I swear June was like the leader for this. So in 2001, so say Park. So June was discovered to have been dating, which, oh no, I was like, he's such an American. He's like, what? I'm not supposed to be dating. What are you talking?
It's like,
What are you
like, I don't
talking
know.
about?
I
All
don't
of
know if you
our
guys have been paying attention. I'm in a boy band. I have women screaming over me all the time. You're telling me I'm not supposed to have a girlfriend? Are
Yeah,
you
I know,
crazy?
right? And he's like, but in America, all of our, celebrities date and get married 15 times. What's wrong with me dating? So so the management, without talking to the group or informing anyone, just went, yeah, he's out of the group. And then And then I don't know, maybe it was Danny who, you know, who was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this." Maybe that little mischievousness. So the fans were obviously pissed off, which is good
Yep.
for them. They did the whole petition, you know, gonna boycott thing, which we know they never do. But
My
like,
my favorite part of that is like we're gonna take our CDs back to the store with the
yeah, we're gonna
receipts
return.
and
We're
get a
gonna demand
refund.
refunds.
They're like,
Yeah,
what world is this?
yeah. I was like, whoa, okay. But also the remainder of the boys, they had a press conference and they didn't tell their management. They just said we're having a press conference. Come on in. You know? And so by November of that year, management their company went, all right, June's back in.
Right.
I was like, dang, boys. First gen and you're fighting the man. So they went back to being five. That was it was a short stint of them being four. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are hilarious. Also, I didn't know this. They were in Time Magazine. Um, and they were nominated favorite like they were doing a lot of things in 2001. Let's see, they also had a scandal, which I don't talk about scandals, so let's see. 2004 they switched to JYP Entertainment. Oh, so before that in 2002 they were actually featured in the FIFA World Cup official album.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. They had a song on
Yeah,
there.
yeah, Truest East Side. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I've never heard of that before. Like, I've never heard of anyone being in like the official FIFA album. You
Hmm.
know, I was like, that's really cool. And then, like I said, 2004 they went to JYP, uh, and yeah, and then they went on hiatus in 2006. Um, yeah, and then they came back in 2014.
Right, right.
It's like, what the crap, guys? They're so weird. They're so spazzy. I think, yeah, because June went back to the U.S. Because he was trying to act in Hollywood, which yeah,
Hey,
which
he made it to the set of Speed Racer, so he's
yeah,
won in my book
he
as far
got
as
the
I'm
Speed
concerned.
Racer. He went from being Yamcha to being in Speed Racer. Or wait, no,
Yep.
Speed Racer was first. Yeah, so I was like, well, he really tried, but he has YouTube has helped a lot of people. Like his YouTube channel, man, something else. But yeah, so then he came back to Korea and they had their reunion. I think in 2019 they had their 20th anniversary reunion thing, which was pretty awesome.
Yes.
And then they received, let's see, when they released their eighth album in 2014, their Ugly Duckling song and Blue Promise both achieved all kills in the digital charts. So they went on hiatus, came back, and they started like killing the chart. uh, and then Saturday Night, which yeah, it made references to their Friday Night song.
Right.
So they had all these great songs, and I'm just gonna go. Yeah, they're still doing really well. They're still really well known. Like people are doing covers of their songs still in fourth gen, so they're still killing it, man. So now that I went through their long history, sorry, I talked forever. Um, so their music videos. Um, I personally I like I said, I loved how they all have stories. I kind of
Yep.
thought that was more of a newer gen thing, but apparently I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong because I freaking love when they have stories. Um, but yeah, what were your thoughts on like their music videos and everything, their music?
I was surprised that listening to their music. They started out in the late '90s, early 2000s. So, and
Yeah,
there's a very like westernized, like Timberland type of style to their music,
yeah,
which is cool. It kind of took me back to the '90s, which I enjoyed.
hmm
Uh, but the fact that they were able to put out so many albums throughout so many years and then come back in 2014 and still make good songs that still top the charts, I thought was pretty amazing. Like their later songs are almost as good as the older songs, and they didn't really change their concept. One of my favorite videos by them is called "Funny but Sad Day."
Oh yeah, That one made me
which
cry.
yes, I'm like, how are you guys coming back and still dropping these tear-jerking videos? Son of a gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one is it's the five guys in a car, and they kind of get into not a car accident, but something happens in the road and they swerve, and the car flips end over end with all five of them in it, and almost like the movie Inception, it's like in slow motion, and
Yeah.
each one of them sees their lives kind of uh, flashing before their eyes, but some of the choices that they made that they kind of regret.
Yeah.
And not to say how the video ends, but it's it's sad and it's sad,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
and then you get to the end and you're still tearing up, but for different reasons. So the fact that they're still able to keep that dramatic elements of their videos all the way to from the beginning all the way to the end, and still make good songs. They are a legendary group. They really are. I'm amazed by them.
Yeah. That song, like, I was like, oh, like June's was kind of cute, like beautiful and cute. He was, getting ready to get married, and I was like,
Right.
oh, that's so cute. And then the other one, he was like reflecting on his family and his kids. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And then the other two, I'm like, oh my gosh, why? Why are you doing this to me again? Like, I cried because he was trying to like be nice to his elderly dad, and his dad
Yep.
just kind of like blows him off with him, and he like stands there out to check him, like, oh my gosh,
Uh,
why? And the
and
other
then
guy was like,
his mom was like made a birthday cake for him,
made
and
a
she's
birthday
calling him, and he's
dinner,
like
out
looking
partying
at the
with friends.
phone, and he sees mom on
Yeah.
there, and he's like, just hang up on her. I'm like,
Yeah, and
oh,
he, oh
dude.
my gosh, because he's out partying with friends and he's ignoring her. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop. So I'm like, it is was it happy but sad, funny but sad, because I'm like half of
Yes.
them like good, happy, good lives, and then the other half I'm like, oh, why? Why would you do that? But yeah, it's a great music video, and like I said, I recommend all of the music videos. Um, some of them don't have English subtitles, so I don't know what's going on. Like, they did. There's a lot of Matrixy music videos too. Did you run into those?
Yes. I mean, that was the style at the time.
Yeah,
Once something has like that kind of cultural impact in like film, then everyone has to play along with it.
yeah. Everyone's doing it. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like June's, they're chasing each other and they're shooting like bullet time stuff going on, trying to save the girl. I'm like, what is going on? And then the music video, like 0%. I was like, I don't seriously, what's going on? It's like,
Exactly.
I was like, because they're like laying there, like hooked up, like they're on the Matrix, but they're like cuddling with each other, and then they rip them apart and they fall, and I'm like, what is? And then they're like in a video game, I don't know, and then like the boys are all like, yeah, cheering them on. I'm like, what is this? I think the quirkiest music video that I saw though, I gotta say, was Observation. Did you see that one?
No, no, I
So
didn't see that one. I thought it was the I thought it would have been the Saturday night one.
no, Saturday Night's great fun, but no, like this is like straight weird. So they're aliens, right?
Oh,
And their
okay.
observation is they're watching this girl, and I was like, I feel like this is like creepy PP Tom type thing because she's like getting dressed and stuff, and I'm like, but like they're aliens, and so they go down to Earth to try to like woo her, but
Yeah,
they're totally like early 2000s bucket hats, baggy pants, looking kids,
right.
and they're following her, and she doesn't care. She's like, whatever, and like I don't know what happens at the end. She goes home, and then there's like a I don't know if it's a cross dresser or I don't know, but it's a dude in a dress. Well, I don't know. They didn't explain it, so I'm gonna go. Oh, we're out. So I don't know if she was in a relationship with the other. I don't know. But then
Uh,
at the very end, for no freaking reason, they kill Santa Claus. Like Santa runs into their spaceship and it explodes. I'm like, what was that? What happened? Why? Why did they just kill Santa?
that
Oh
had
yeah.
to have been some type of like inside or personal joke.
It got to have been because I was like, the crap just happened. It made no sense. Santa just comes out of nowhere and smacks into them like a car wreck. Oh, gall. But they're great. I think my favorite music video is Snowfall. Did you see that
Okay.
one?
Yep.
Snowfall, I love the vibe to it. I love everything about it. It's like a mini drama and like a
Hmm.
5-minute video. It's absolutely beautiful, and I guess the main girl is a very famous actress as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I always read through the comments and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. And it says feature. Like, oh, okay. So that one was my favorite. It was very simple. They break up for some reason during the winter previously, and she's just sitting in the coffee house, just kind of remembering it because it's
Right.
snowing again, and like everyone's out there playing in the snow, and she's just kind of like remembering. And then she runs into the guy that they used to. I think they're like engaged or something. She goes out and she goes, oh, because it was like their spot or something.
Yeah.
So she thinks he's back, like come back to her, like he's going to like, you know,
Right. They're gonna
whatever.
start things up again.
Start things up again because she sees him and she smiles and she's like, oh my gosh. And then like he walks right past her,
Right.
doesn't give her a look, just straight past. And then of course her heart like shatters and she starts crying. And then he turns around or he looks at the snow and I guess he's like remembering her and he kind of turns around. I was like, oh, it's just great. It's such a good drama. It's like 5 minutes, so good. But it was great. And then did you watch the music video for Road? Did you like understand what it was talking about?
No, I didn't understand it, but I listened to that song before I watched the
Oh,
video.
hmm,
So I was much more impressed with the song. So as
mm,
I'm watching the video, I'm like, I don't understand this at all, but I still like
yeah,
the song.
yeah. I think I like all their songs. They're totally my vibe. You know, 90s, early 2000s, growing up. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, this is my jam. This is my group. You know, I love this. I don't think there was a single music like song that I didn't like at so like because they're very much groovy. Like you sit and you just kind of vibe to them. I don't know how to explain it, but they're fantastic. And then what was there was one song. Okay, there is one song I liked it, but I didn't like it at the same time.
Okay.
I believe it is called like when you left me after you left me or something like that. Did you listen to that one?
Wait, yes,
Or
I think I did listen to that one. Yeah,
because
yeah, I like that one. That one has like a real mellow
mm-hmm,
vibe. I like that one.
yeah, did it remind you of any other song?
You know, anything from that time period just reminds me of like early Usher
Oh, does
songs.
it really?
Yeah.
Because when I was listening to it, I'm
Oh,
like,
wait.
I know this
Yes.
song. I know
Yeah.
this song.
You know what? Yeah, I didn't catch it until the chorus. It's
Hmm.
um Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone.
Ain't no sunshine. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like, it's like, what is this? Because they even though the I know, I know, I know, I know,
Right.
even do that part. I was like, is this okay? Like, are they gonna get in trouble for this song? What's going on? You know, because like listening to it, I'm like, I know this song. I know this melody. This is driving me nuts. I know this melody. And then it got to
Yeah.
that chorus part. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Ain't No Sunshine. Oh.
Yeah, so it isn't like a word for word
Oh
remake of
no.
it, but it's them kind of putting their kind of remixed version in a way of
Yeah.
the song, which is cool. I mean, they've released God, I forgot how many songs were off that album, but I think that was probably like the third or fourth
Yeah.
single that came off that album. So they've earned a room to like expand their audience a little bit.
Yeah. And expand they did. Like they keep picking up people, man. Like
Yes.
because if you read the comments on like their music videos and stuff, people are like, "So Stray Kids did a cover of this song, and that's why I'm here." And now this is like the 14th video. I'm like, yeah, they're so good. Like they have that early late 90s, early 2000s vibe about them, and of course they got hit with the 7-year curse, kind of. They
Right.
didn't they didn't technically disband, as they would say, because the boys never said they disbanded. They just go, well, we're just on a hiatus for like
Right.
10 years.
Right. Well,
So like
they promised. They said that they would get back together,
And they
and
did.
they all got back together. So it's not really a disbandment. It's just kind of like be patient. Just be really, really, really
Yeah.
patient.
Yeah, and they did what they said. They're like, "Yep, we're back. What's up?"
Yep.
June's out there being crazy, and everyone's doing their own thing. Getting married, having kids, being an actor. I think they sold out the Seoul Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, I
Or
read that too. That's ridiculous. I
yeah, it's
had
oh,
no idea how popular they really were back in the day.
yeah, 40,000 people. 40,000 people. Oh my gosh. And then I guess they also had a tour over in the US a little bit. They
Oh.
went to the Staples Center in LA,
Hmm.
and was it
The bar-
Prudential
yeah, yep,
Center
the
in
Brood in
New Jersey?
New Jersey. I was so
Yeah.
like that was probably my first year of getting into K-pop. So I'm still like kind of getting my feet wet. First or second year. But had I known that they were in New Jersey, like that would have been a great show to check out.
Yeah, like I'm always so like, if I wasn't so afraid to travel by myself, I would have been to so many of these concerts. Like, oh my gosh, they're in LA. Oh my gosh, they're in Texas. I can do
Hmm.
this. I can fly there. But I'm like, I'm afraid to travel alone. So I
Oh.
never go. I'm like, I don't want to go to a concert alone. you know, I'll just, watch, the YouTube versions of it later.
Yeah, there you go. Watch the fan cams that'll be happening like instantly as soon as the concert
Yeah,
is over.
exactly. I think they, oddly enough, they televised one of their concerts.
Oh,
So
nice.
like the general public could watch it. I was like, that's cool. That's also very weird, but that's really cool.
It's
I was
rare.
like, I would totally sit down and watch their concert, for free on
Hmm.
TV because it's not they still get money for it.
Yep.
Viewership equals money. But yeah, they're what was it? They had 9 million downloads for one of their songs back in 2018. um, which is really, really good. Once again, this is a first gen group, people. Like 9 million downloads for one of their songs.
Yeah, seriously.
Like,
If you're starting off your group in the '90s and you're a boy band and you're still like pulling in big numbers
yeah,
down the road, that's a feat. That's an amazing feat.
yeah. And they also were one of the few groups that they didn't like. You know how a lot of idols do it still. They do the persona like mysterious, kind of aloof to their fans type of thing. They
Mm.
kind of went, "Nah, we're not doing that." And that's why I was like, June's so comfortable. Like I said, he goes out and eats with his fans that he just randomly runs into on the street. He's like, "Hey, let's go get food. Come hang out. Let's go get food." Also, June, he never takes his sunglasses off. Like, he's like a freaking video game character. He never takes his sunglasses off. He also calls himself like the like lowest maintenance K-pop idol ever because he doesn't do any skincare. And
Wow.
he's like a total bro. Like the Americans coming out, June. Come on, man. You're famous. Do some skincare. But yeah, like he's super tan, and everyone makes comments about it. He's like, yeah, I tan. I don't go and get like. He looks exactly the same, like from this baby picture to like this one. He looks like the same freaking like nothing's changed.
Yeah,
He's
yeah. Except for
exactly the same.
he dyes his hair like super bleach blonde,
He
but other
bleaches
than
his
that,
hair. Yeah,
same thing.
yeah, he's the same dude. He has more. Whoa.
Hey, there
Maybe I
you
could do.
go.
Hey, I could zoom in.
Like,
I
look at this
figured out
guy.
internet stuff.
So look at this picture and try to pick out who's the oldest member of the group.
All right, the one who's squatting like a child in
Oh,
the center.
he's
Like, dude,
awesome.
man, he's great. He's obviously our favorite. So, have you watched like any of like you've watched them on some shows? You've said you've seen them on some shows,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
and in some like group interview shows, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're I haven't seen them very much. I only ever see June mostly because watch his TV. I'm subscribed to his YouTube channel.
Hmm.
Um, but like I don't know. I think they also were able to create one of the few that were able to create an album with just their number one hits.
Yeah, I saw that too. They went on one of their big tours, one of their last tours. They did a playlist of 20 songs,
Yeah.
and out of the 20 songs, 17 of them were all number one hits.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous. That's amazing.
Yeah. I was just these guys, man. Like first geners, like second geners had to fight the man a lot, like their management and stuff. But like first geners were killing it with like pretty much everything. Of course, first they were the first to do a lot of different things. Um, like Big Bang did a lot of really unique firsts because they're very unique. But like first geners were really paving the way for everyone that came after them. And some of them are still some of the, like the best K-pop I've listened to. G.O.D is definitely there. I love the like R&B, just kind of
Yeah.
smooth, giving me boys to men vibe type
Yep.
style. I was like, I love this so much, but I'm kind of old, so.
And
But
that's why I thought them and JYP was such a good connection because
yeah.
JYP is also very much influenced by
Oh yeah.
Western soul music. You know, they call him JYP the Asian soul. So I think him and them was like a perfect fit to be together.
Yeah, it was a perfect combo. And they're one of the like the only groups to have their comeback like after a hiatus with all of their members. Like kind of like how Brown Eyed Girls were one of the only female groups that were able to like keep everyone.
Hmm.
Same with God. Like they are all together and they still come back and do concerts together, which is great. And listening to them live, like I highly recommend listening to their stages. They sound amazing. They're not going to be dancing around, and that was never really their thing. Like, I mean, they
Exactly.
kind of did, but their whole thing was mostly to like interact with the fans, like walk around, and sing and just kind of chill and vibe with their fans. And I love that. Because choreography is great and everything, but it does create a barrier between your fans and the fans and the idol, you know, because they're not hyping their fans up, you know, they're
Right.
just kind of like, I'm gonna hear and I'm gonna perform, and then I may wink at the camera, you know. So like it but just I don't know. I met a person who was like, I don't like things that are over 10 years old. I'm like, you suck. You're missing out, man. You're missing out on so much. Um, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say because I'm always stuck on June and his "What's Up, Man" stuff because I watch it so much,
Well,
And
I definitely think one of the big selling points for them was being on that reality show,
hmm
the first reality show, because you have to think if you're a boy band, they're going to market you towards young teenage girls.
yeah,
You know that's who's going to buy the albums. That's who we want you to market to. But you
hmm
put these guys in charge of a baby.
it's like
Everybody
chaos.
wants to see that. Grandmothers want to see that. They want to see how this happens. So
Yeah.
having having that show and having it broaden their audience only like fueled their popularity
Oh yeah.
because afterward like they were the first ones to do it, and then after that you see it all over the place. There's always shows with groups that are taking care of a baby, and then we get the after effect of it now when these babies are like teenagers and, and
Yeah.
these groups see them again and it's like, oh, tears, tears,
Oh,
tears. And but there was a time when they were on a show and taking care of a baby. The fact that God was the first group to do it is amazing. They kind of set the blueprint for it.
yeah. They really did. Um, like I said, a lot of these first gen groups paved the way. Like
Yeah.
they set out the blueprints. They opened a lot of doors. They did a lot of really good uh, things because without once again without them, without any of this, what we have now, you always got to like appreciate the past for what's going on currently. Like
Right.
your favorite group may take inspiration, or their writers or producers may take inspiration from previous writers, or everything. Um, which I don't know, just uh, like their concept too. They never wore the weird outfits. They always just look like dudes, chilling. Because like HOT, they had the skiing, that like they looked like they were gonna go play hockey, type
Right.
outfits. And they're like, yeah, that was a trend. I'm like, oh, why?
Well,
Like,
to be fair, God did have some not
unu-
unusual stage outfits, but they fit the time. You
oh
know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
oh
if you
yeah,
watch any music video from that time, you would see people wearing outfits that were just as odd looking at it with today's eyes. But at the time, it
yeah.
was cool.
Just yeah, just look at freaking was it NCT Dream, NCT, one of the NCTs. They did 90s Love, and I'm sitting
Oh,
there
right.
and I'm like, yep, I know those outfits. Yep, I know those outfits. No, I don't do two more of that. And I'm like, and then currently, like, you watching new music videos and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wore those pants back in high school. I remember the ripped jeans. We're going back to the ripped jeans, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going
Yep.
back in time. But any any other, like, anything else you want to touch on with God or just first gen or anything?
Yeah, there is, and I mentioned it before in the show. There is a fantastic documentary on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
called K-pop Evolution,
Yep.
and it tracks the history of pretty much K-pop from the mid '60s up to today, or a couple of years
Mm-hmm.
ago when it came out. And a couple of the guys from God are on there throughout the show, not just on the section about first generation, but providing their input on K-pop throughout the entire show. So it's on YouTube. It's free. It's I want to say it's like 7 episodes, 7 or 8 episodes, about a half an hour each, and one of them is there's a the episode 2 or 3 that's all about first gen groups
Mm-hmm.
is fantastic, fantastic. And June, of course, steals like every scene that he's in. He's hilarious. He's he has a uh, great line about being in a boy band and like his looks. He's like, look at these guys and look at me, and then look at these guys. Come on, come on. He's hilarious. But it's called K-pop Evolution. It's on YouTube. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's great. There's also, I think there's an episode of what was the show, but it's on Netflix. They had an hour-long episode all about K-pop and the history of it.
Oh
It was
yeah, yeah.
actually I can't remember what the show was called. It was like Discovery.
I
Anyway,
want to say it was something about it. It might have been This Is Pop or
yeah.
This Is Music.
Let me just see if I can find it. Then let's see. Explained. It is called, no, not Blackpink.
Yes. By the way, there's an awesome documentary on Netflix about Blackpink too.
Yeah, there's a, yeah. I can't find it. It's all saying Blackpink, but I know there's an episode. I think it's explained. Is that what it is? Explained. Yeah, and it's a good episode. They kind of touch on Soteji and the boys and like all of the rise of K-pop, and they talk about how music before that, because they had a dictator, was very pro Korea. Go, oh, I love Korea. Very,
Right.
nationalistic. It wasn't like K-pop, and then they voted in their first president, and then it kind of went to Soteji and the boys, which was
Right.
shocking to them. Absolutely shocking. They have b-boys. It was terrifying. But he was, as we talked about him previously, Soteji was Soteji and the boys were, the fathers of K-pop, and a lot of these first gen groups are the CEOs, or of the big three, and
Right.
they came from somewhere, and or they're highly connected to each other, like G.O.D with JYP, and it's kind of crazy. And I'm sorry once again, people, because I haven't been talking about like the current gen or like or, or anyone. It's because second and first gen have most of the history, and they talk about current gen or past gen, third gen. But well, not fourth gen because they're too new. I would love to talk about them, but there's not really much to talk about. They're so new. They're babies in the industry. They haven't like achieved most of anything, which is kind of not true. We did talk about ATs, but I wish I had waited because they have achieved so much now. But yeah. Any final thoughts, Mark, before we?
Nope. I would just say if you miss kind of the old school vibe of the '90s,
Yeah.
'90s early 2000, if you miss that vibe of the music, then definitely check out some of G.O.D's earlier stuff. It will put you right back there, like instantaneously.
Oh
It's
yeah,
fantastic.
it is. Yeah, definitely check out old groups. First gen, second gen, I believe, are some of the best out there. Um, and they achieved greatness. And I think if social media and everything was around in their time, they would have, even been bigger.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, don't write them off. So before we go, Mark, what do you have going on in your podcast land episodes?
Yeah, so we're still doing So Was Your Podcast. Me, Joey, and Aubrey get together every week and review movies and TV shows that have just come out. So we have I don't know, coming up soon. We're going to be doing the new Sylvester Stallone comic book movie called Samaritan,
Hmm.
where we're going to be talking about that. I personally am going to be heading to Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia, which is a great pop culture convention. If anything that you could like, there's a panel for it. So if it's anime, if it's voice acting, if it's astrology, if it's podcasting, uh, there's a panel for it. There's also a big K-pop dance party that they do every year, and
Ooh.
I like to go and represent my old school K-pop group. So last year I wore my Wonder Girls T-shirt. This
Awesome.
year I'll be wearing my Girls Generation because they just came back T-shirt. So
Uh,
yeah, if you happen to be at Dragon Con at the K-pop dance party, look for the old man in the gray beard with the Girls Generation T-shirt dancing like a maniac. That would be me.
that sounds like fun. Oh. And you can always find me at TDC, the Definitive Crusade, talking about everything DC Comics. Mostly, I'm very angry on that show. So if you want to see the opposite of me here, go there. So thanks once again for joining us for K-Pop Cosmos, and we'll see you next month.
Bye, everybody.